Jeffrey Epstein, unseen prison footage surfaces online. In the gloomy confines of New York's Metropolitan Correctional Center, a fortress notorious for housing society's most infamous individuals, a scandalous event unraveled in the darkest hours. Unseen prison footage has now emerged, peeling back the layers of secrecy surrounding the final moments of Jeffrey Epstein's life. The revelation not only exposes the negligence within the high-security unit, but also sends shockwaves through the corridors of power, forcing society to confront the shadows that shroud the truth. As the details of that fateful night come to light, the prison's reputation as an impenetrable bastion of justice begins to crumble, revealing a web of deceit and systemic failures, while raising disturbing questions about the safeguarding of those in custody. Join us as we delve into the heart of this gripping exposé, exploring the headlines that punctuate the grim saga of Epstein's demise and the subsequent fallout that threatens to reshape the landscape of accountability within the criminal justice system. Slumbering guardians. As the prison night settled into an eerie stillness, the guardians of justice, Tova Noel and Michael Thomas, tasked with the solemn responsibility of overseeing the well-being of inmates, succumbed to the lull of the night. In a shocking revelation, unseen prison footage exposes a harrowing reality. The very individuals entrusted with maintaining order within the high-security unit were caught in a state of neglect. The camera peers into the prison guard desk area, capturing the unsettling scene of two figures, clad in the uniform of authority, seemingly indifferent to the magnitude of their duties. Instead of maintaining the mandated vigil over Jeffrey Epstein, they are ensnared by the tendrils of drowsiness, their eyes heavy with the weight of exhaustion. The monotony of the surveillance tapes reveals a betrayal of trust. The rhythmic checks that should have occurred every 30 minutes devolved into a perilous lapse. Guards, supposed sentinels of justice, were discovered seated at their desks, a mere 15 feet from Epstein's cell. The backdrop of security cameras becomes a haunting witness to their transgressions. In this crucial moment, as Epstein's fate hung in the balance, the guards shopped online for furniture and motorcycles, engaged in trivial distractions that stood in stark contrast to the gravity of their responsibilities. The echoes of their negligence reverberate through the cold, desolate corridors of the Metropolitan Correctional Center, exposing a chilling truth. The guardians of justice were, that night, the architects of their own dereliction. A web of lies unraveled. As the dawn of accountability breaks, the courtroom becomes the stage for the unraveling of a sinister narrative, a web of lies meticulously spun by those sworn to uphold justice. The grand jury indictment serves as a damning testament to the depth of the deception that took place within the high-security unit. The scene was set in the hallowed halls of justice, where the indictment, a symbolic tome of truth, cast a piercing light on the nefarious activities of prison guards, Tova Noel and Michael Thomas. Security cameras, the silent observers of their transgressions, now served as the prosecutor's eyes, revealing a disturbing tale of fabrication and betrayal. As the charges were read aloud, the echoes reverberated through the courtroom, emphasizing the severity of the allegations. Guards entrusted with the welfare of federal inmates stood accused of not only neglecting mandated checks, but of deliberately falsifying official records to obscure their inexcusable lapses. The guards had a duty to ensure the safety and security of federal inmates. Instead, they repeatedly failed to conduct mandated checks on inmates and lied on official forms to hide their dereliction. The courtroom, a bastion of truth-seeking, becomes a theater of justice, where the intricacies of the guards' web of lies were laid bare. The veil of deception that once shielded these guardians of the law now stands torn, exposing the magnitude of their deceit and the breach of trust that occurred within the supposedly impervious walls of the Metropolitan Correctional Center. As the legal drama unfolds, the question lingers: what other secrets might be lurking in the shadows of this high-security unit, and to what extent has justice itself become entangled in the very web designed to uphold it? The sleepless watch. Within the somber confines of the jail cell block, the relentless scrutiny of surveillance cameras paints a stark picture of an unconscionable breach of duty, marking a night that will forever be etched in the annals of scandal. As the prison cameras capture every moment, it becomes painfully evident that the designated guardians, Tova Noel and Michael Thomas, betrayed their responsibilities with a nightmarish nonchalance. Contrary to the conspiracy theories that have swirled in the wake of Jeffrey Epstein's death, the unseen prison footage lays bare a truth as chilling as the prison itself. No one entered Epstein's domain on that ill-fated night. The mandated rounds, intended to occur every 30 minutes, were replaced by an eerie silence. The guards, a mere 15 feet away from Epstein's cell, chose to abandon their post, reportedly leaving the high-security unit in a state of abandonment. The very individuals tasked with ensuring the safety and security of the federal inmates under their watch chose complacency over vigilance. As the night wore on, the duo was not only neglectful but also indifferent to the gravity of their duties. Unless the footage was tampered with in some way, it appears to reveal a 2-hour period during which both guards appeared to be in the clutches of sleep, a betrayal not only of their professional obligations, but of the trust placed in them by the justice system. The ominous quiet of that night is a testament to the failure of the institution meant to uphold order. In the corridors of the Metropolitan Correctional Center, where echoes of injustice linger, the guards' disregard for their duty served as a tragic prelude to the events that unfolded in the cell block. The revelation challenges not only the narrative surrounding Epstein's death, but also the very foundations upon which the criminal justice system itself stands. As the sleepless watch becomes a haunting symbol of systemic failure, the urgent call for accountability began its silent echo through the prison's desolate halls, demanding answers to a question that resonates far beyond the jail's walls. How could those entrusted with safeguarding justice have allowed such a betrayal of duty to transpire in the dead of night? A rush to judgment? In the hallowed precincts of justice, an air of skepticism loomed over the accusations leveled against the two guardians of the night, Tova Noel and Michael Thomas. The atmosphere in the courtroom was charged with tension as Montel Figgins, lawyer for Michael Thomas, raised a compelling question. "They're going after the low man on the totem pole here," he argued. "We feel this is a rush to judgment by the U.S. Attorney's Office." The defense contended that the indictment, while compelling, might be a hurried attempt to find scapegoats rather than to unearth the root causes of the systemic failures within the Metropolitan Correctional Center. As the lawyers advocated for their clients, the narrative took a twist, an exploration of whether these guards were merely the sacrificial lambs for more pervasive cover-ups and other issues within the prison system. As the accused guards hid their faces behind the courtroom's cloak of anonymity, questions lingered over the extent of their culpability. Were they the architects of their own demise, or were they mere pawns in a larger, more intricate game? Jason Foy, lawyer for Tova Noel, expressed a glimmer of hope amid the legal storm. "We hope to reach a reasonable agreement with the government that could avoid a trial," he stated, with a confidence that belied the sheer gravity of Tova's predicament. Even in the face of damning evidence, the defense suggested a willingness to cooperate, leaving the door ajar for a deeper exploration of the circumstances that led to Epstein's untimely demise. The issue of a potential rush to judgment becomes a crucial subplot, prompting a collective pause in the courtroom. As the legal battle intensified, it remained to be seen whether the quest for accountability would yield a nuanced understanding of the systemic issues or if, indeed, the accused were unwittingly becoming the fall guys in a broader narrative of institutional failure. The rush to judgment, it seemed, was not only about the fate of Noel and Thomas, but a reflection of the urgency to dissect a flawed system that allowed such a lapse to occur in the first place. Epstein's death. A systemic failure. As the courtroom drama ensnared the nation's attention, the Senate Judiciary Committee convened to unravel the layers of a tragedy that extended far beyond the actions of two guards. The death of Jeffrey Epstein became emblematic of a broader systemic failure within the very fabric of the federal prison system. Kathleen Hawk Sawyer, the new director of the Federal Bureau of Prisons, stepped up to the witness stand, ready to confront the glaring inadequacies that culminated in Epstein's demise. "There is no evidence to suggest anything other than suicide," she stated, with a calm that belied the profusion of conspiracy narratives encircling the case. The acknowledgement of Epstein's apparent suicide did not quell the storm within the committee chambers, however. Instead, it served as a catalyst for a broader conversation about the chronic issues plaguing the Metropolitan Correctional Center and, by extension, federal prisons nationwide. Sawyer disclosed that a review of operations within the Bureau of Prisons found systemic staff shortages, with some members failing to perform required rounds and inmate counts, despite logging false records indicating otherwise. The revelation paints a stark picture of an institution grappling with chronic understaffing, mandatory overtime for guards, and a lack of resources. The high-security unit, which once held notorious criminals, stands exposed as a microcosm of a system teetering on the brink of collapse. Unless we address these systemic issues, tragedies like Epstein's death will continue to haunt our criminal justice system. The director's words hung heavy in the air, echoing a sentiment that resonates not only in the committee chambers, but across the nation. The death of Epstein serves as a catalyst for a broader reckoning with the structural flaws undermining the integrity of the entire federal prison system. As the committee delved into the abyss of systemic inadequacies, the urgency to reform takes center stage. The legacy of Epstein's death transcends the confines of the courtroom, demanding a comprehensive overhaul that ensures the safety and accountability of the very institution entrusted with the guardianship of justice. As the legal proceedings unfurled in the solemnity of the courtroom, the tragic narrative surrounding Jeffrey Epstein's death took center stage. Mark Furnick, a lawyer representing Epstein, stepped forward, poised to articulate the profound implications of a tragedy that left an indelible mark on the nation's conscience. It would be a shame if minor scapegoats were made to take the fall for this tragedy on what amounts to a cover-up theory, he declared. Furnick's words resonated not only as a defense strategy, but as a poignant commentary on the broader implications of Epstein's demise. The courtroom, a crucible of justice, became a battleground for not only individual accountability, but also venue for a timely reckoning with the very essence of a criminal justice system that allowed such a high-profile incident to occur. The lawyer's assertion prompted a collective introspection. Is the focus on Noel and Thomas a distraction from the underlying issues that contributed to Epstein's death? Were they merely pawns in a larger chess game involving powerful figures and systemic inadequacies? The tragedy, unveiled in the cold light of the courtroom, extends beyond Epstein's alleged crimes. It exposes the fragility of a system in which the pursuit of justice finds itself intertwined with power dynamics and institutional failures. Unless such an indecent prompts genuine self-reflection from all major participants and stakeholders in our criminal justice system and those who cover it, Mr. Epstein's death in federal custody, senseless and sad though it was, will be repeated, Furnish concluded. The lawyer's somber prediction lingered in the air. The tragedy unveiled was not merely Epstein's death, but a broader revelation of a system in dire need of reform, accountability, and a renewed commitment to the principles it was built upon. As the courtroom drama unfolded, the unseen prison footage serves as a stark reminder of the systemic failures within the high-security unit. Epstein's demise not only raises questions about the guards' accountability but also sheds light on the broader issues plaguing the federal prison system. The search for justice continues, as the shadows cast by Epstein's death linger over the corridors of power and accountability. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the imprisonment and rumored suicide of Jeffrey Epstein. Please like this video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Check out our other Epstein videos while you're here. In the meantime, we encourage you, our esteemed viewers, to stay informed, critical, and empathetic as we navigate these sensitive topics.